what's happening in the medical care movement.
Well, that is devastating news from one of the only medical doctors in Congress and an economist, award-winning Congressman Ron Paul, telling us that it looks like it's going to pass. Folks, you better do whatever you can to stop this and let Harry Reid and others know they're not going to get reelected if they do this. In closing, Congressman, some good news. You got 311 sponsors. It's passed out of committee. Audit the Fed. The Fed's admitted you audit us, you'll destroy us. In the last 3 minutes we've got left, sir, auditing the Fed. Give us a report on that.
Okay, I think most know that last week it was put into a bank regulation bill, which is a monster of a bill. When it came out of the committee, I voted against the bill because I don't vote for a few good things when there's a lot of bad things in it. But my amendment won by 42 to 26, which was a major victory. It's on the House floor at this moment. It will be voted on at the end of the day. And the auditing provision was in both the Republican version and the Democratic version. The Democratic version will pass, and the auditing provision will be in there. The real work needs to be done in the Senate. So if anybody knows whether where their senator stands, try to urge the senators to get on that same bill. I think it's 604, and there's 30 in over there. There's been several senators that have put a hold on Bernanke's reappointment unless they have a vote on 1207, the auditing bill, in the Senate.
So, sir, this is a massive victory. I mean, today it looks like they're going to probably pass it in the House. It'll go to the Senate, and then the fight's in the Senate. This is incredible news.
Yeah, it's big. We have no idea, exactly what will happen. There'll be a lot more resistance in the Senate, and the Fed still has time to do all that they do. But nevertheless, I think you're correct as describing this a major victory for the people. The grassroots got this done. I didn't twist arms. I have no clout up here in that sense. But we have 313 on there, all the Republicans and a lot of Democrats. So it's a really great testament to what can happen when the people come together, because this is not a conservative Republican bill. I mean, it's liberals and populists and libertarians and constitutionalists have all come around to believing enough is enough, and the Fed is too big and too secret.
And we finally identified it as the real shadow government instead of Republican and Democrat puppets. You've been working for close to 30 years for this. Even if we don't have victory this year, we're a hair away. It'll be assured next year as the crisis accelerates. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to ever, if they squelch us, it'll just make it a bigger issue. And the problems are going to get worse, and they will know where to look, and they have to look to the Federal Reserve System to find a real source of our problems.
Well, Congressman, I salute you. Your book is a bestseller in the Fed and bookstores and at Amazon.com. Go to CampaignForLiberty.com. Go to all the great sites of Ron Paul supporting. Thank him for running for president a few years ago. That really... All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. It is Friday, the 11th day of December, 2009. We are now 14 minutes into the second hour, and I just wanted to play that clip from part of our live interview with Congressman Ron Paul last hour. So they attempted to poison the bill, to strip the strong provisions out of it. Ron Paul beat that 2 weeks ago in the Banking Committee. He was able to make sure the strong bill is going to the floor of the House to assuredly, he believes, pass today and then go to the Senate. This is a giant victory for everyone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to continue with your calls. Bern in Canada, Ron in Texas, John in Texas, John, Wisconsin, Bob in Ohio, and others. And at the bottom of the hour, I'm going to do an overview of ClimateGate, the Copenhagen Global Government Establishment meeting that is happening, and a lot more, and really boil down the master plan of these people. The official UN delegation, headed up by the Communist Chinese, has called for a planetary dictatorship. This is out of the China Daily, the official government newspaper. They have called for an official planetary dictatorship to carry out one-child policies in every country of the planet. And that's only part of this plan. We'll be breaking it down coming up in 15 minutes. Right now, let's go to Bern in Canada. Bern, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex, how's it going, man?
It's the best of times and the worst of times.
Well, it's getting better, big guy. Hey, what we need, man, we need a global citizens arrest list so the people can get them. When it comes time, We need to know who they are. You know, we got to root them out one day. And if they take the internet away, we're screwed. So we need to know who they are. Simplify things for the people so they can click on.
We need to have, you know, Bush and Obama get in trouble for secret CIA hit teams killing people outside the legislative process and outside of the judicial process. I don't think we should start making a list, but we should publicly state that the billions of deaths, conservatively a billion, that will happen in the decade after the climate tax is put in, 15+ million starve to death a year. Just the UN ethanol scam killed an additional 10 million last year. This is genocide, as Lord Monckton said yesterday here on the radio show. And so we do need to point out that these are eugenicist terrorists. If people don't know what eugenicists are, I'm going to be breaking that down later. But I appreciate your call, Bern. I mean, obviously, everyone knows who the globalists are. David Rockefeller, Henry Kissinger, the Queen of England, the people pushing for world government, Prince Philip calling for exterminating 80% of the world's population, Dr. Eric Pianka at the University of Texas calling for airborne Ebola to be released to kill 90% of the world's population and how great it's going to be. We know who these individuals are. White House science czar calling for drugging the water supply to sterilize the population. We know who these people are. We need to identify them as criminals. And then as they implement their carbon tax, if we can't stop it, and they're already implementing it in the third world and many first world nations, as that bankrupts people, as that causes people to starve, as that causes poverty, we need to have grand juries indict them for murder and conspiracy to commit murder because they say they want to reduce world population, and that's why they're, quote, destroying our industrial society. So we need to continue the education process. Ron in Texas. Ron, you're on the air.
Thank you, sir. I just want to say it's a great honor to share carbon monoxide in a chair with you and a fellow brother that feels the same way.
Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide's the good gas, that they want to tax.
I just want to say that it's a sad thing, and I want to go back to something that Ted Nugent said about the apathy. And quote, somebody said something once, that history is a cycle, and we're doomed to repeat it if we don't learn from it. And I've elaborated a little bit more. If you don't experience it yourself, as a people, you're even more doomed. As a Native American, a lot of the things that happen to us are happening again on a broader scale. But because it's not...
That's actually the official UN model. Hitler built it off what happened to Native Americans here. Shut off your resources, put you on reservations, and then slowly exterminate you.
Yeah, exactly. And because most of the people have never experienced it, it's not going on to them. They don't see it. And you don't have to look at the third world because they don't say it's not. They say it's not going on in my yard, so I don't care. Look back at the history of what's going on here. You have people living in third world conditions now that are starving. You have people that are suffering from disease now that are dying, all because of New World Order, which started for my people in 1492. And if they wake up, read people like Angie DeBow, and see what's going on, maybe we'll start getting more people woken up. But until then, you can see I'm real strong about this. I've been awake since I was 7 years old fighting this. And it's just an honor to talk with you about it, and I don't want to take up any more of your time, but thank you.
God bless you, sir. Good to hear from you. Let's talk to John in Texas. John, go ahead.
Hi, Alex.
Hey.
When I was growing up in the 50s, nobody that I knew of, including our family, had health insurance. But when you went to the doctor, you went to the hospital, you didn't get bankrupted either. It was easy to,
The government bureaucracy and welfare is what screwed up our system, and now the government's answer is 10 times more government. And notice Obama's health care plan strips $41 billion out of Medicare, over $30 billion out of Medicaid a year. So they're taking your health care, the fools out there that like big government.
Because the doctors had fair rates back then. It was easy to pay off, and nobody lacked for health care. All of a sudden now that you go to the hospital, you're bankrupted, and so you got to have this socialized medicine. It's just, disgusting.
That's the plan. Make you dependent on government so they can forcibly sterilize you. That's in the official government announcements. People have trouble dealing with this because it's so horrifying, but it's real. The facts are in. More phone calls straight ahead. Thanks, John, for the call. We'll take another call from John in Wisconsin, then Bob, Tom, and others. And then I'm going to break down The latest developments from Copenhagen.